With this piece of wood, I'm gonna make 2 wool combs, and then I'm gonna comb some wool so that later on I can spin it to yarn. To make clothes out of wool, you can go one of 2 ways. Kind of mash it all together, felt it. But if you want to do some weaving or knitting, you have to be able to turn the wool into yarn. If you want to turn wool into yarn, you first have to card it or comb it. And the easiest tool to make and the oldest of those 2 tools, cards or combs, are combs. It's staying together, but it's riddled with cracks. I'm not happy with this. Since I will glue a backboard for it, I might try and water down some glue and try to seep it into the cracks, and then just trust that the back piece will help enough to keep it together. Less cracks, but still, at the moment it just don't really feel like my project. Glue, 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 glue. I have tested them in this rough state, and they are structurally sound. I have managed to mitigate the cracks. Time for the final shaping. Gluing everything this much smeared some of the glue onto the nails, and I'm going to try and remove as much as possible because I find it rather annoying. The last step of the making is to sandpaper it. They are done. They are not perfect, but I don't deal imperfect. I'm happy with them, and these are made on request for a friend. Hopefully they will be appreciated. I'm going to show you how they are used. So we're going to test these out and verify that they're strong enough, but we're going to do that inside. I start off by taking some of the raw wool and roughly aligning them and pushing them down onto the nails. Then I start with taking the other wool comb and combing that wool. Then I take the first comb the other comb. Do that a couple of times until they look good enough. You can see quite quickly how the raw wool looks compared to the comb wool, that the comb wool really has kind of a nice, even, combed look to it. And then I remove the wool from both of the combs and I turn them around and push them down onto the nails again. Because when you comb it, the wool kind of makes hoops. And I comb everything again by trying to hold the wool fast enough with my other hand. Some of the wool will still be transferred to the other wool comb, but some will still be left on the first one. I then take some of the wool and I try to pull it off the comb. I'm taking a part of it and pulling it out and then transferring my grip, taking a new part so I get a kind of an even, long, combed roving. And that wool now is done. I can spin it into yarn. But I still have wool on my other combs. Then I just comb it a bit and then I try in the same manner as when I'm done with a batch of wool. I try to pull the wool from the combs. And now I can kind of have to wiggle it a bit. Draw directly to the left. And then shift the direction to the middle. And then shift it to the right. And do that a couple of times. Doing that, I might get most of the wool, but I will probably still get some wool left in the comb. I would say that now the wool that's left is too short to really make a difference, to really contribute. And since it's shorter, it might also be, well, less quality. So I remove that wool. So there you have it. The wool combs work, and you now know how it works. I'm not an expert in this. I've been doing it for a couple of months, learning by the internet. Kind of fun. If you see something I could do better, let me know in the comments down below. Now I'm gonna get these wool combs, my friend, and I will continue with the first wool combs I made, which I kind of hacked through in an evening. They're rough, they are ugly as fuck, but they work. So if you're interested in starting with wool combs, you don't have to make good looking ones to just try it out. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see some more. There's more projects coming using the wool and the yarn and everything. The coming of the yarn. Yarn is coming.